Back to our CSS tutorial for beginners series. In this series, we're going to learn how to add CSS to our web page. What are the methods of applying CSS to our web page? This is what we're going to be covering in this video. Basically, there are three methods we use to add CSS to our web pages. We're going to be talking about these three methods in this video. So here are the three methods we use to apply CSS to our web pages. The very first one is an inline styling method. The second one is internal styling method. And the last one is external styling method. Let's go ahead and look at what these terms stand for. Let's discuss an inline styling method in CSS. Below you can see a block of code. This is a heading 1 tag, and inside heading 1 we have an attribute style equal to codes, and inside the code we have color, and then the color we are giving it yellow. This is the actual text, and we have the closing tag of h1. This is an inline styling method because our styling is inside our tags, which is h1 in this case. So this means an inline styling method is applied on a single web page within a style attribute. Okay, an inline styling method is applied on a tag with the help of an attribute called style. In this case, we have h1, which is a tag, opening of h1, and then closing of h1. Now, inside the opening of h1, we have an attribute called style, and then we are giving it a color. This is an inline styling method. This method is only applied to one web page, an individual web page. So let's say we have multiple web pages. You have to go inside individual page and then apply this code to each and every web page. So this method of applying CSS is not convenient, and it doesn't make you productive as a web designer. So that is an inline styling method. The key point here is it is applied within a styling attribute called style equal to code, and then inside you put your properties, your property. So that's the first styling method, inline CSS. Let's talk about internal CSS. Internal CSS is the second method of adding CSS to your web pages. This is a way of adding CSS to a single page. Internal CSS is defined inside a style tag. When you take a good look at this code, you can see there's a tag here, opening of style, and when you come down you can see there's closing of style, and below we have our h1 tag, opening and closing of h1 tag with our text inside. Now inside the opening and closing of our style we have our styling, and this is a selector. We are yet to talk about selectors in our other series, so for now don't worry about selectors. So all you need to do is to call your selectors in our case, h1 is a selector, which is a tag. So you simply call it inside the opening and closing of style, and then give it properties, and then it will work that way. So with an internal CSS, you define a style, opening and closing of style, and then this is where your styling is going to live, inside the style, opening of style and closing of style. Anything outside it will not be classified as CSS properties. So the key point here is, with internal CSS, you use it to style a single web page, and then it is also done inside or within the opening and closing of a style tag. And with the help of selectors, this is a selector, p tag is a selector, all your tags are selectors, you call it inside, and the web page is smart enough to know that it is this particular tag you're talking about, and it will go ahead and then style that tag. I hope it's clear. So that is it. That's an internal CSS. Internal CSS and inline CSS have a lot of disadvantages, and because of that, we use another CSS called external CSS, and that's what I'm going to be talking about. Because assuming you have over 20 web pages, and then you want to go inside individual page to apply style, that means anytime you want to make changes, you have to go inside individual web page to apply or make your changes. That's where CSS comes in. So with with external CSS, you're able to style it very effortlessly. With one click of your mouse, you're able to make the changes to over 100 web pages. So that is it. Let's go ahead and talk about the third styling method, which is external CSS. This is our third method of adding CSS to our web pages. The third method is called external CSS. This uses one CSS file to change the look of an entire website. External CSS has an upper hand than the other methods of styling, which are internal and inline CSS. This method will save us a lot of time and effort as developers. On your screen, you can see to your left hand side there's a CSS file here we use to style our web pages. We created this file once, and then we use it on every single page on the website. We use a link tag to link our CSS file to every single page on the website. It doesn't matter the number of pages we have. So that is it. I'm going to be showing you how these styling methods work in real time. So I'll take you to my code editor, and then we'll see how these styling methods work. Inline CSS and internal CSS are still relevant because there are times you would want to style a single web page. You don't have to create a separate CSS file and then do the styling. So you have to still watch my third video where I'll be talking about inline CSS. After that, you watch my internal CSS, and then finally you watch my external CSS styling method. So I'll see you in the insight where we'll be talking about inline CSS. It's also important to know how that works. Okay, so I'll see you inside where we'll be talking about inline CSS.